Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1862A, and today's date is May 8th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Economic Power Continues to Shift. Did you catch it? Now, this is the time of year that most of us have a big old clear out. We get rid of all the stuff that's collected through the winter, hidden away in the back of a cupboard or a file cabinet. There might be a gold mine. Noble Gold can show you how to blow the financial dust off those files, revitalize the dead money, and catapult your retirement savings into orbit. Just for May, to celebrate Memorial Day, they are offering a solid silver Trump 2020 coin and a 10-ounce silver bar for anyone rolling over an IRA or cash deal over $20,000. Talk to the team over at Noble Gold today and call 877-646-5347. Protect your retirement by investing in a gold IRA. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, what Trump, the Patriots, what they've been doing over the last 2.5 years is they've been reversing everything the deep state, the central banks, have been doing throughout this entire period. Remember, their entire plan, when I say they, it's the central bank, the deep state, their entire plan was to strip America of manufacturing corporations because they knew that the central bank system wasn't going to last much longer. And if you notice, they were building up China. Now, a lot of people think that, no, China was never going to be the next powerhouse. No, everything was not moving to China. But actually, it really was. Secrets were being sold. China basically has the same type of exchanges that we have here in the United States. They were creating all of this on purpose. Trump is now putting a stop to all of this. And with every day that passes, another piece is put back into its place, and it's taken away from China. And as you can see, he's been doing this one step at a time. When he first came into office, he got rid of the easiest things, like the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That wasn't really a law yet. He just said, you know what, we're not even going to do it. He had to renegotiate NAFTA because that was completely tied up in Congress, so that had to be renegotiated. I think what's going to happen later on, he's going to completely get rid of it. He made a lot of bilateral trade agreements with other countries, and he's renegotiating trade with many countries, Europe, China, and many others. And this is all being done on purpose because he understands, the Patriots understand, that everything is about to change. Now, everyone's like, well, why would he do this if the central banks are in power? The only way this is going to work is if the central banks are removed from the picture. When I talk about the central bank, I'm talking about the private Western Central Bank that is controlled by the Rothschild, where they loan governments money with interest attached. We don't need a central bank like that. There's no reason to loan money to the government, and we have to pay them back. There's no reason to have a private corporation control our finances. Yes, I know they made the case that we need to control it. It'll help you out. But look at the ups and downs throughout the whole entire year. Look how the value of the dollar has decreased over time. Lost value under their system. Look how much debt has accumulated under their system. Really? Their system is that great? No, their system hurts the everyday person. And now everything's being reversed. And you can see they're starting to panic. They're completely exposed. And Trump, a little bit at a time, is putting forth tax cuts, deregulating, creating trade deals, renegotiating trade, and buying back our ports. And we'll be getting into that in just a moment. But something very interesting out in Illinois. Trump's tax cuts just saved Illinois from itself. The Chicago Tribune reports Governor J.B. Pritzker is setting aside a controversial proposal to reduce the state's payment to its severely underfunded pension plans for the coming budget year after tax revenue collected last month far exceeded expectations. Due to a variety of factors, including changes that resulted from the recent federal tax overhaul, emphasis added, the state's individual and corporate income tax revenue in April was more than $1 billion higher than what came in during the same month a year ago, according to a letter Illinois Department of Revenue Director David Harris and Pritzker Budget Director Alex Sturm sent to legislative leaders. The tax windfall, coupled with other revenue collected throughout the year, will be enough to cover most of the state's projected $1.6 billion deficit for the current budget year. Now, this entire article, they talked about the federal tax overhaul. They didn't mention a couple of things. First of all, Trump, this is his policy. Secondly, it was his taxes, his tax cuts that allowed this to happen. It just didn't happen out of nowhere. But they didn't mention any of that. And you can see there are many people around the country that are completely benefiting from the tax cuts. And remember, all of this is being done to prepare us for the new economy. Now, Trump says China is coming to Washington to make a deal. Now, Trump tweeted out the following, and this is very interesting. The reason for the China pullback in attempted renegotiation of the trade deal is the sincere hope that they will be able to negotiate with Joe Biden or one of the very weak Democrats and thereby continue to rip off the United States $500 billion a year for years to come. Guess what? That's not going to happen. China has just informed us that they, Vice Premier, are now coming to the U.S. to make a deal. We'll see, but I'm very happy with over $100 billion a year in tariffs filling U.S. coffers. Great for U.S., not good for China. And I believe all these countries, they still have it in their minds that the deep state, they're still in control. And they're starting to realize the deep state, the central bank system, is no longer in control. And remember, the deep state is not just here in the United States. They're in each and every one of these countries. And there are governments and people fighting against the deep state in all different countries. They're starting to see the writing on the wall that they're not going to get a better deal. They're not going to deal with other individuals. They're going to have to deal with Trump and the Patriots because they can see what is happening here. Trump, the Patriots, they have complete and utter control over the economy. The economy is going to rule over the 2020 election. And they're starting to realize that, listen, these tariffs aren't hurting anyone here in the United States. They're hurting the countries that the tariffs are placed on. And I do believe that China will make a deal with Trump. This whole renegotiation was a tactic which has failed. Now, what's very interesting is that during the Obama administration, they had no problems with the OOCL signing a 40-year lease with the city of Long Beach in 2012 for control of America's second largest and most automated container handling operation. So the Obama administration signed away the port to China. It was a sweetheart deal and was part of the Middle Harbor Redevelopment Program to fund a $1.5 billion expansion through 2020. Now, Trump came in and said, whoa, just a minute. There's no way that China is going to be in control of the second largest port. That's a no deal right there. So one of his first major actions that he took through the Department of Homeland Security in March 2017 was issuing a Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S. So the Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security, has now forced China's state-owned Costco to sell the port of Long Beach over security concerns. So it looks like China was forced to sell its Port of Long Beach container terminal ownership to Macquarie Infrastructure Partners for $1.78 billion. And that brings us back to post 3313, where Q gave us a picture of a port along the coast of California. The file name at the time was lbp.png, which is Long Beach Port. And the post says first and 10 on the 40. And it looks like they just passed the goal line because the port was sold. Now, we know that this is in Adam Schiff's district. So Joe M. tweeted out the following. POTUS has closed a major deep state access hub for child and human trafficking into the U.S. Where will little shit and friends get their stock now? Trump is closing everything down, bringing everything back to the United States. We need to control our own ports. China shouldn't be controlling the ports in the United States. So Trump, at every turn, is shifting the economic power back to the United States. And all of this is being done on purpose, one step at a time. And before you know it, it's all going to happen and it's all going to make sense. Think about what the deep state and the central banks have done over time. Now, they did it over many, many years, so people didn't realize what was going on, because every time they moved something, people would say, hey, wait, what's going on here? If you notice, when everything comes back to the United States, what are they going to say? Hey, we don't want it coming back to the United States. We don't want manufacturing coming back. We don't want corporations reinvesting in the United States. We don't want to buy back our ports. No, they're not going to make that argument. Trump now can move at lightning speed compared to the deep state and the central bank, where they had to take their time over the many, many years, because he's working in reverse. He's resetting the system. And it's very interesting because a lot of people talk about a reset. A reset is taking everything the central bank, the deep state, has done over the many, many years and bringing it back to where we were, where the United States was a manufacturing powerhouse, where we made really great products and other countries really wanted to buy them, where we created our own currency, where we didn't have a central bank controlling what we do, removing the corruption in government. This is all part of the reset. And this is all happening right now. We're already seeing the shift. And he's moving at lightning speed right now. And we're going to see a lot more of this coming up. So everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.